this has been going on a long time. And situations like this never have a positive outcome. And people get hurt and lives are changed and destroyed.
Listen. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do this here. We don't have to, you know what? Who cares what anybody do? We can leave right now. We can leave right now and nobody, I don't care what anybody else says. We can leave right now. Look at me. Look at me. Let's go. There he is. Let's go. Look, who's this?
Dixie and AJ, we're hoping they could keep it that way. Dixie, you've been member of my family. Our families are so close. And AJ, I've known you for so many years. Dixie, I respect you so much. I know that I could come to Dixie with absolutely anything, and I needed help. And Dixie was there. You listened to me, and you knew that AJ would be able to help me too. And AJ, you have the highest moral character I've ever seen, which is why I've come here today to tell you the truth. Dixie and AJ are not having an affair. I'm an addict. I've been trying to get clean. I started out drinking and it just got out of control. I drink, I do pills. It got so bad that I take money from my family. That's why I couldn't come to them to help. I woke up a couple times in a hotel with a stranger, and that's when I went to Dixie and AJ for help, and they were there. AJ took me to rehab. They kept my secret. I didn't want anyone to know, and they were there for me. And that's when Chris Daniels and Kazarian got in the way. The photo, it wasn't an embrace. It was them looking over me. The video, that was Dixie trying to protect me.
No, shut up. Why didn't someone tell me she was here? Shut up.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. It's okay.
I'm sorry, Daniels is a liar.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Sit down, shut up, and listen up.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry back here with you. Of course, talking, oh goodness, and a questionable payoff to a long-developing storyline on TNA from this past Thursday. Of course, the allegations of an affair, and now all of a sudden you have this woman, Claire, who says she was an addict and turned to AJ and Dixie for help. And to further compound things, both Kazarian and Daniels ran out, and the two of them both were beaten up single-handedly by AJ Styles. What a way to represent as the tag team champions, or at least challengers to the tag team championship. Go figure. Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and get back to the phones. Let's see. We should hopefully have Ed up and running here. I think we got them taken care of over the break. Ed, are you there? Hello? Ed, you been hanging on with us? I heard something must be an issue with the phones. All right. Not a problem. We'll Let's try this one. Okay, let's try the other line here where we've got, is that Ron hanging on? I hear something going on, but I don't know. I'm getting the silent treatment today. All right. Well, I thought we would have had it squared away, but we'll take a look at that in a minute. Anyway, while Bill Melody's taking a look at that, let's talk about the WWE roster. I was teasing that a little bit last week. I've done some number crunching, and it's kind of interesting, really. The 58 men on the WWE roster, 13 of them are currently out with either an injury or suspension in a couple of the cases, or just overall inactive. But 13 out of the 58, that's almost 25%. That's almost a quarter of the men on the roster, and over a quarter of the women on the roster currently inactive. It was slightly worse with Alberto Del Rio out with a concussion, but he has, of course, since come back, as you saw this past week on Raw. Yeah, it looks actually like the inactive roster is more, coming up stronger than the active roster. I mean, you've got, here are the guys out on the shelf. You've got Brock Lesnar, who's resigned, quote unquote, from the WWE. You've got Chris Jericho, who, well, at least as of a couple of days ago, was suspended, but this is his first day off of the suspension. Of course, The Rock is off filming movies. You've got Evan Bourne. Oh, okay, we've got him up. All right. I think we've got the few things figured out here. Let's go ahead and get to the phones. Our new segment here on WBCB. Of course, in wrestling, you know that there have been quite a few captains in wrestling, most notably Captain Lou Albano, Captain Mike Rotunda, and now we're going to add one into our fold here. Courtesy of a beach traffic update, we've got Captain Ken Fortna. Ken, what's going on? Okay, the connection's still. Thought we had him up, but all right, we'll get to Ken in just a moment. Let me get back to what I was talking about with the inactive, the guys who are inactive here. Of course, I mentioned The Rock. He's filming movies. Evan Bourne, he's out with a broken foot still, although he's been in some hot water after a couple of failed drug tests, so he's kind of on strike 2 out of a potential 3. You got The Miz, who's now out filming the Marine 3. I know we talked about that about a month or two ago. Rey Mysterio's out with a suspension. R-Truth is out with a broken foot. Mark Henry's recovering from surgery. Randy Orton's in the midst of a 60-day suspension for his violation of the wellness policy. Ted DiBiase, he's still out with that broken ankle. Trent Beretta just hasn't been on TV in over in over 30 days, if not longer. We haven't seen The Undertaker. He's on the roster, but we haven't seen him since WrestleMania.
Let's try it now.
Okay, let's go ahead and give it another go here. Captain Ken, you there with us? Hello? This is one of those days. Yeah, this is one of those days where the phones just aren't working for me here. All right, Bill's gonna keep figuring that out. In the meanwhile, I've been running through so many of these names here. I feel like, okay, we were talking about The Undertaker being inactive, of course. Wade Barrett, he's still out with that dislocated elbow. And then on the women's side, you've got Kelly Kelly, who's out on personal leave. Karma, she's still out on personal leave after suffering that miscarriage. And, of course, Eve, she's filming Stars Earn Stripes. So she's out as well. So, I mean, just looking at all those names that I ran through, it's not too bad of a roster on its own. But, I mean, looking at those who are active, I mean, they're really, who is there in the as we see as main eventers? And I know this is something we've been talking about for quite a while. But, I mean, really, you look at the roster up and down, you've got CM Punk, John Cena, Sheamus, and Daniel Bryan. That's pretty much it for your main event, at least of those who aren't on the shelf. Underneath that, I kind of broke this down into 5 different levels. You have the main event, your semi-main eventers, your mid-card guys, your lower mid-card guys, and your jobbers. I know you can probably make an argument or a case one way or another for a couple of different guys, but I don't know. That was kind of the 5 rungs that I went with, and yeah, there's really only 4 on that top rung, and then underneath them, you've got kind of that second tier of the Big Show, Kane, Alberto Del Rio, and I kind of put Triple H there for lack of a better place, since he's not really a full-time wrestler anymore, and obviously he's kind of doing the corporate deal there. So I don't know, but he's definitely in there. Obviously, he's looking to take on Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, so that's why I've got that. And then you've got a few mid-card guys, and these are people who I know a couple of them we've been calling to be elevated for a while now. Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, Santino Marella, Tensai, I've got him in there with his involvement with Cena as of late. Brodus Clay, same thing with the Funkasaurus. Christian and Cody Rhodes, they've been feuding over the Intercontinental Championship. And the Great Khali, for lack of a better place, I kind of have him in that mid-card, although he's obviously not feuding for a mid-card title. Then you've got the next rung of guys that, again, it's a lot of them you kind of look at and go, wait, Oh, that's who those guys are. Alex Riley, David Otunga, Kofi Kingston, Zack Ryder, Antonio Cesaro, Damian Sandow. He's hopefully getting a little bit of a push. Drew McIntyre, Ezekiel Jackson, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, Ryback, Sin Cara. I mean, names that you've at least seen on TV, and they may get a win here or there, but otherwise they're not really heading in any kind of a direction. And then these guys, the rest are pretty much all guys that are put on TV to lose, and that's most of the roster basically. Okay, we're gonna give another shot here at the phones. We've got Ron hanging on. Ron, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hello?
Oh, there we go.
Hello?
All right, I think we finally got it going here. Ron? Great, we could hear him. Now he can't hear me.
Hello?
Hello? You there, Ron? Well, now we can hear him. He just can't hear us. It's guess whatever wire we cross, we got to uncross or something. I have no idea. All right, looking at what was I talking about? Looking at the kind of the last level of guys there. I mean, you've got Kurt Hawkins, Epico, JTG, Mason Ryan, Michael McGillicuddy, Primo, Tyler Rex. I mean, you got Camacho, Darren Young, Hunico, Jinder Mahal, Jimmy and Jay Uso, Johnny Curtis, Titus O'Neil, Tyson Kidd, Yoshitatsu. I mean, these are just guys brought on TV to make other people look better. And, I mean...
All right, one more time.
Okay, one more go here. It looks like... I don't know which time's the charm here. We got Ron back on here? Okay, Ron, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly. This must be a rib or something. Somebody's... all right, this must be a rib or something. Anyway, yeah, it's something that we've been saying for a while. Is there's got to be a way to introduce new names to the to those top two columns, because I mean, between those 8 names that I mentioned, and really 7 since Triple H isn't exactly competing for a title anytime soon, other than being that corporate representative, as much against his own wishes, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Jericho returning this Monday from the Brazilian suspension, that'll help, but I don't know. A lot of people listed in those bottom 3 rungs of the ladder, I don't know, they've been kind of presented as as either a non-threat or not really important, so I don't know. It'll be kind of difficult to do, but I think it is something that they certainly can do. Anyway, we'll get more into that in a little bit here. We'll see if we can also get the phones going back here. I mentioned earlier about the Bound for Glory standings. Of course, after a slew of matches this past Thursday on Impact, a bunch of them. Of course, Mr. Anderson pinning Daniels. A lot of these matches, I'm kind of curious as to why they have only a 10-minute time limit on these things. I know they have a 2-hour show, but they could go for a little bit of variety, because that if it's a Bound for Glory series match, that it is likely not going to go any longer than 5 minutes, even though there's a 10-minute limit. So you see a lot of really, really quick, not necessarily squash matches, but you see a lot of quick matches that, I don't know, they don't really necessarily have time to develop between guys who ideally should be 12 guys who are close to your main event picture, or at least somebody you're trying to elevate. I mean, 3 minutes and 5 seconds between Mr. Anderson and Daniels. Of course, you've got 30 seconds, Kurt Angle beating Robbie E. 2 minutes and 25 seconds, Magnus pinning AJ Styles. James Storm and Samoa Joe, that went just a hair under 4 minutes. D'Angelo De Niro and Bully Ray, that's, again, just over 3.5 minutes. The TNA Knockouts title match lasted longer than any of the Bound for Glory series matches individually. And then, of course, the main event, as it were, Jeff Hardy pinning Rob Van Dam in 3 minutes and 40 seconds to get his 7 points. So the standings, you've got a 6-way tie for 7th place, all with 0 points. AJ Styles, Rob Van Dam, Robbie E., Daniels, Samoa Joe, and Bully Ray, All 6 of them have wrestled 2 matches and haven't won either of them. Then you've got a 4-way tie for third, each with 7 points, a pinfall win. You've got Mr. Anderson, who's 1-0-0 in his one match, and then you've got Jeff Hardy, Magnus, and the Pope, who each have won a match and lost a match. They have 7 points. In a solid second place, you've got Kurt Angle, who is 1-1 in his 2 matches, but the one win was by submission, so he's got 10 points. And then James Storm, winning in both of his matches. Yeah, he has. It must be a typo on my part. I believe he's got 17 points, 10 for the submission and 10 for. Or 7 rather for the pinfall. I'll have to go back over my numbers. I thought I had it right here, and then I apparently had a bit of a typo. But either way, James Storm is leading, and he seems to be the perennial favorite to win the Bound for Glory series and finish/finalize his feud with former tag team partner Bobby Roode. Anyway, let's go ahead and take care of take our second time out here, see what we can do about getting the phones together. I know there have been a ton of phone calls, people trying to chime in, and believe me, I'd love to get to you. We'll also get to some Facebook feedback. I know that's been lighting up like crazy here, so we'll get to that on the other side. Hopefully some of your calls as well. 215-949-3232, as well as toll-free at 888-922-2149. Those are the ways to get to us here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.